I think with young kids, the most important skills that parents or coaches should be focusing on with young players is obviously those kind of three big ones, which would be skating, puck handling, and shooting. Number one thing is going to be skating because no matter what level they play at, the higher up they go, the better their skating has to be. And if they can get that kind of skating component nailed down at young ages, it's huge. And when we talk about skating, I mean things like edging, stopping, starting, forward skating, backward skating, the higher level stuff like transitioning and all that kind of stuff, that'll come as they get better. But if they get their fundamentals down, so that edging, forward skating, backward skating, balance and agility, all the other stuff will be a lot easier as they get to those levels that they can start performing that. And then when you look at, even just things as simple as controlling a puck or stick handling, having coaches and parents really focus on their hand positioning and not having players with their hands turned over and hands too tight together, but getting those little fundamentals down at the young ages so that when they are strong enough to shoot a puck properly and really execute things, and their technique is there. And same thing with shooting, making sure that players aren't dragging pucks from way back or flipping pucks too often. Every single young player loves to flip pucks, which is totally fine, but I want to make sure that they are still working on proper shooting technique and things like that as well. One other thing too that I want to highlight is as players get older, I think what separates high-level players more than anything, almost every player that plays junior, major, junior, college, all skate well. They all shoot the puck pretty well. They all pass the puck well. Some are higher skilled, some are lesser skilled, but overall they're all pretty good. I think one of the biggest things is characteristics and personality and how these kids were raised and how they are. And that respect factor is huge. Their work ethic, and how they approach the game, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we notice at the high levels, and that could be like Bantam and midget, so it's still in minor hockey, but with those young kids that are going through basically 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and as they're going up, are they respectful? Do they respect the game? Do they respect their coaches, their teammates, their trainers, the Zamboni driver? How are they at school? Not even talking about hockey, but just how are they as people? And that's one of the biggest things I noticed that separate guys as they're trying to make that jump to college, to pro, to NHL, to wherever they're trying to get to, is those character things. And we always kind of bring it back to, are they a good pro? Meaning, are they on time? Do you have to get them out of bed all the time? Do you have to drag them to the rink? Are they ready? Do they look like an unmade bed when they get to the rink? Or are they put together and dressed appropriately? And so I think if parents can get anything out of something like this, if at young ages, get your kids to carry their bags, get your young players to carry their sticks, get your young players to try tying their skates. My thing is by 8 or 9 years old, players should be tying their own skates. There's no reason a parent's tying a 13, 14-year-old skate. I don't care if it's a brand new skate. That's their skate. They're old enough. They're strong enough. They can do this. But a lot of times as parents, we want to do so much for our kids. So I think teaching them those lessons and getting them to go through obstacles on their own a little bit, like helping them with it. But if they have any kind of controversy, we love to help that out and love to be the ones to take it all over. I think we need to let our kids navigate life a little bit and become good people. And that's going to help them in any sport they play. But obviously with hockey, that's one of the biggest things that separate players. So I think, obviously the fundamental skills are huge, but I think developing good people is obviously, the long term is huge for a player's success.
Nice. And so to be a professional, you have to maintain a professional attitude, just like going to work. Doesn't matter how old you are.
No, and I think to be a professional, you got to maintain that professional attitude 100%. But some players kind of have it, but other players, you can teach it to them. You can teach them to set an alarm to get up when they're 10 years old, 11 years old. And we don't do that as parents. We go in, wake them up. Hey, come on, Johnny, we got to go. No. If you want to go to hockey tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, set your alarm. Here's an old school alarm clock. So there's no phones in the room, but here's an old school alarm clock. And you set your alarm for 7 o'clock and we'll go. And I think those are little lessons along the way that to me are bigger than hockey or sport. They're just life. And having, giving your sons, daughters a little bit more responsibility. And when we think of being a pro, it's just like anybody in our life that we think about that's just on time, that kind of has their stuff together, that is okay at saying, I messed up, I screwed up, that's on me. Those are important too. And I think, as with young kids, it's okay to mess up, but tell the truth, be accountable for what you're doing. If you had a bad game, well, yeah, but you were out partying last night or you were out at your buddies and had to sleep over and stayed up all night. What do you expect, And let's reset and revisit and then move on, So I think, to be a professional, I think you got to act appropriately. And obviously, we as parents and coaches have to help teach these young kids how to do that for sure.